Hello and welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose, and today I got another knife review. And this is a cool one. This is the CRKT Nirk Novo. The CRKT Nirk Novo. So I'm just going to set this down here and tell you a little bit about it. This is a Glenn Klecker design. I believe his name is Glenn. If not, I know for sure his last name is Klecker. Design knife. The overall length of the knife is 6.5 inches. The blade length is 2.75 inches. The blade thickness is pretty thin, but still usable. And that is at 0.09 inches. The handle thickness is 0.28 inches thick. The handle length is 3.87 inches long. And this is a lightweight knife. It comes in at about 2.2 ounces. So really cool looking knife. We'll get into it because I think the coolest features about it aren't necessarily the blade, which is fairly typical of most knives. Is a lot of us look at the blades to have something be impressed with. And the blade is very attractive. So looking at the blade, it is a sheep's foot design. So it comes across flat and then drops off heavily. Very simple, clean looks. It's just a sexy kind of looking knife and design all around. It is a partial serrated, partial plain edge blade. So CRKT, if you don't know them, they're kind of known for taking serrations to the next level as far as really testing out different serration patterns and designs. And if you're a fan of serrations, I highly recommend checking out their product line because they offer some super deep angled serration knives. They offer kind of your standard serration. This is like a 3-tooth serration here, but they just have some really cool serrated knives, and I'm not a huge fan of serrations. This knife does also come in a full plain edge, but for whatever reason I just thought this looked neat with the partial serration. It is a hollow grind knife, and you have this, the hollow grind comes through and really sweeps back big, which gives it a really cool line to it. I almost want to say it's a mere polished blade, but it's a satin finish blade. The edge is sharp, so you might be able to you probably would be able to throw some sparks with it if you wanted to use it in that way. But, you know, this is more of like a gentleman's folder, a light, slim utility knife. So you could easily wear it out on a night out. It becomes a very interesting talking piece if you wanted to use it in that aspect. I think a lot of people would be intrigued and find this piece very interesting to look at and how it functions. So that being said, that's enough of the blade, and as you can see, it has a thumb stud on the one side. So unfortunately, lefties, this is a right hand carry tip down only knife. There's a small section of jimping on the top for your thumb, which actually locks it in place pretty well. It has kind of a stylized thumb pivot here, or pivot, that is just circular, and then inside you can see that it has the, you know, T6 or whatever head to screw or unscrew that. This is a very simple knife. And my favorite part is actually in the handle. So looking at the handle, as you can see, it has these interesting cutouts, and maybe I'll try to do this here. Maybe not. But as you can see, it has those cutouts traced through here. Now, if you look carefully, it almost looks like a maze, but up here, this whole piece is floating and is only connected by this one bar here on either side. Okay, now what that does is it makes this part flexible and maneuverable. So as I press back here where there is some knurling here for grip, as well as to show you where you are to press, it moves the other end over there, and that is actually the locking mechanism. So it's actually a back lock knife, where it uses the frame as its lock. So I don't even know if you could call this a back lock or a frame lock or a back frame lock, but it's definitely cool. It's definitely unique, and it gives this really cool design and look to the handle, but then it's also functional, because without it, it wouldn't have a lock. Now the other cool thing is, because it has that, if you were to fold this out, this is all one piece of metal. It was stamped out and then folded to create the handle. So this part was folded over here, and it must have been, that might be the only place where it was welded or seamed. I don't even think it was welded. It was just pressed together so much and polished together that it looks like one piece. But for the most part, it was machine cut and then folded over, and then that's how you get this design for the lock back. And it works great. Locks in, super solid, no play. And then the pocket clip, very simple, satin finish, fold over, deep carry, right hand, tip down only. And that's pretty much all I can say about this. There is no lanyard hole, but it's a very slim knife, and I don't know why you'd need a lanyard hole. This isn't one you're going to need to get out quick. Like I said, it's more of a gentleman's piece. The centering's perfect, and it just comes right out, and it's just awesome. That being said, the blade steel, this was a fairly budget knife, so if you want a good-looking knife like this that's very classy and stylish for a really good price, I got this one off Blade HQ for around 15 bucks. Because of that, you're going to sacrifice a little bit in the blade steel quality, but it is a 4CR15 MOV and I. So, it's, a budget steel, but it's good. It's good enough. Really similar to 8CR13 MOV, but awesome. Just love the look, and it's super light and it's slim, so when you put it in your pocket, you barely notice it. So that being said, we're going to compare it to a couple other knives. We have the Kershaw Decoy, which is a strange one, and I'll get into that one on another video. The Tough Light, Cold Steel Tough Light. We'll do the CRKT Squid Carbon Fiber, and we'll throw the cat in there, Spectacles cat. All right, so looking at this, blade length, handle wise, it looks like actually the longest blade out of the run here. If we line them all up, it's just slightly bigger than the cat, but that's fine. But then it also has the longest handle out of the gang at, about a 1/4 inch, similar to the Tough Light handle, but the blade is longer than the Tough Light. That being said, we're going to check the blade thickness. It looks about the same as the Decoy. The Decoy kind of tapers. So set that one aside. Tough Light's a beast, and it's way thicker than the Nirk Novo. Looks like the CRKT Squid is thicker than the cat in BD1, which I love this knife. Is definitely thicker than the Nirk Novo. So there's that. So yeah, super awesome knife. We're gonna check out the Ugly Brown glove test. This one, I can tell you right now, just from looking at it, it's all polished, satin finish all over the place. It's metal. There's no real texturing, so I know this isn't gonna work well, but we'll give it a shot. So grip-wise, just in general on the handles, the cloth is slightly getting caught in those grooves, but for the most part, there's no grip at all. I can kind of grip if I put my thumb on the pivot and kind of lock in with the pocket clip there. The jimping on the blade actually does lock the glove in, but then my fingers slip off the back, so there isn't quite enough of a hook there. But it's enough to get some cuts. Oops. So, yeah. Paper, hate me. Serrations are sharp. Good. So then closing it, it's a two-handed close just because you have that back lock and you don't want it to close on you. But boom, we'll see if the thumb stud works. So it's hard kind of getting a grip. I have to kind of rely on the pocket clip there. But boom, it does work. If you had any sort of textured or rubberized grip on a glove, this would be okay. But like I said, this is more of a light, thin utility knife. Good for opening up boxes, cutting open packaging, or if you want to just carry it on you as a gentleman's folder, it could definitely fit that role. Does it pass? Did you hear that noise? Not really. So I'd maybe give it like a 55%. Not the best, but you know, it's not designed for that. Either way, it's still super cool. Still really enjoy it. I'm glad it's a part of my collection. And it's just fun to use that other type of locking mechanism. If you like this knife, please give it a thumbs up, or even if you're interested, or leave comments, questions, remarks, like, subscribe. Please click the I in the upper right hand corner if you want links to other videos. I'll put those up eventually. And stay tuned for other knife and gear reviews and unboxings. Thank you, and I'll see you outside.